If you keep helping people, you'll stay broke and broken. Look around you. Really look. Who's winning? Is it the most helpful person you know? The one always showing up, always lending money, always answering calls, always sacrificing their time? Or is it the one who knows when to disappear? Here's the truth nobody in your hood wants to say out loud. If you keep helping people the way you are right now, you won't just stay broke, you'll stay broken. Not because you're weak, not because you're lazy, but because you've been trained to bleed quietly while others feed. This world doesn't reward helpers, it rewards position. And today, you're going to understand why. But before we go any further, let me be clear. This message is not about cruelty. It's not about hurting people. It's not about abandoning morality. This is about protection, not destruction. Survival, not abuse. Awareness, not manipulation. You are not learning how to exploit others. You're learning how to stop being exploited. Let me tell you about a kid from South Atlanta. They call him Jay. Jay wasn't soft, he was solid. The type who loaned money even when he was short, let friends crash on his couch, paid for food just this once, believed loyalty mattered. Jay worked warehouse jobs, construction, night shifts. Every check had a hole in it, not bills, people. Cousins with ideas, friends with bad luck, girls with emergencies. Jay told himself, when I make it, everybody eats. But nobody tells you this part. Everybody eating means you starve last. Years passed, same apartment, same stress, same circle. And here's the brutal part. The people Jay helped, they moved on. One started trapping seriously, one got a trucking route, one married into stability. Jay stayed stuck. Not because he wasn't capable, but because he was available. That's when the awakening hit. Not anger, not bitterness, clarity. Jay realized something Machiavelli wrote centuries ago. Men are ungrateful, fickle, liars and deceivers. They avoid danger and pursue profit. Atlanta didn't change, Jay did. Here are some rules to follow. Rule 1. People don't respect help, they respect leverage. In the hood, respect isn't given to the helpful guy, it's given to the guy who can't be used. Real life Atlanta example. The dude who always gives rides, eventually nobody even says thank you. But the guy with one ride, one rule, one price, people move different. Instruction? Stop helping for free, start helping with conditions. Punchline: help without leverage creates dependency, not respect. Rule 2. Stoicism. If you can't say no, you're owned. Stoicism teaches one brutal truth. If your emotions decide your actions, someone else controls your future. Jay used to feel guilty saying no, until he realized every yes was stealing from his goals. Atlanta example. Your cousin asks for $200. You say yes. Your car note is late. Now you're stressed and he's gone. Instruction? Pause. Detach. Say no without explanation. Punchline: the calm man keeps his resources. Drop this in the comments. My guilt is not my master. Rule 3. Jung's helper complex is a shadow trait. Carl Jung exposed something dangerous. Some people help because they're kind. Others help because they fear being irrelevant. That fear is weakness. Jay realized he wasn't just helping, he was avoiding loneliness. Atlanta example. The friend who always pays so people stay around? That's not generosity, that's insecurity in disguise. Instruction? Ask yourself, if I stop helping, who disappears? Punchline: if your value disappears when the money stops, it was never real. Rule 4. Machiavelli. Never build others before you're built. Power comes before generosity, not after. Jay watched guys in Atlanta make one fatal mistake. They funded everyone else's dreams before finishing their own. Instruction? Build your base quietly. No announcements, no rescue missions. Punchline: you can't be generous from an empty throne. Rule 5. The hood rule. Free hands get cuffed.
In Atlanta, free resources attract attention, sometimes from people, sometimes from problems. Jay noticed the more he gave, the more chaos followed. Instruction: create scarcity around your time and money. Punchline: scarcity filters parasites faster than confrontation. Rule 6. Nietzsche: pain is a teacher, not a signal to save. Nietzsche said it plainly: what does not kill me makes me stronger, but only if you let it. Jay stopped saving people from consequences. Friends hit rock bottom. Family learned responsibility. Jay finally moved forward. Instruction: let people feel the weight of their choices. Punchline: saving people from pain keeps them weak and keeps you broke. Rule 7. Stop being the safe option. Atlanta reality: people don't call the safe guy for opportunity. They call him for emergencies. Jay became unavailable. No drama, no speeches, just distance. And suddenly, people respected him more. Instruction: be reliable, not reachable. Punchline: access is a privilege, not a right. Drop this in the comments: my presence is not free. Jay stopped funding chaos. He invested in a trade skill, a small trucking lease, discipline, quietly. No Instagram, no handouts. 2 years later though, different neighborhood, different circle, different posture. The same people who ignored him, they called again. Jay didn't argue, didn't explain. He just smiled and kept moving. That's power. Rule 8. Legacy over likes. Most people live loud and die forgotten. Jay built something that outlived favors. Nietzsche understood this. Greatness demands sacrifice, including social approval. Instruction: choose legacy over being liked. Punchline: power isn't generosity, it's sustainability. Let this be clear again. This message is not about cruelty, not about exploitation, not about becoming heartless. This is about protection, not destruction. You are not responsible for saving everyone, and this video creator is not responsible for any actions or consequences resulting from how this content is interpreted or used. Use wisdom, use restraint, use ethics. Here's the truth they never tell you in the hood. The world doesn't reward the helper, it rewards the builder. If you keep helping everyone, you'll stay broke. If you keep rescuing everyone, you'll stay broken. But when you build yourself first, you become untouchable. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. I am disciplined. I am selective. I am building a legacy. If this message woke something up in you, like the video. Subscribe for more dark psychology, power, and strategy. Because the most dangerous person isn't the loud one. It's the one who stopped giving away everything and finally chose himself. Silence is power, discipline is freedom, and legacy is built alone. Here's what nobody warned you about. Nobody tells you this part. The moment you stop helping people, you become the villain. Jay learned that fast. The same people who drained him suddenly said, "You changed," or "Money got to you," or "You think you're better now?" No, Jay didn't change. Their access did. And access loss feels like the trail to people who were feeding on you. This is the tax of growth. Machiavelli warned, men forget the death of a father sooner than the loss of their inheritance. When you stop giving, people don't miss you, they miss what they were taking. Atlanta example. Jay stopped answering late-night calls, stopped sending just this once money, stopped explaining himself, and suddenly, group chats went quiet, invitations disappeared, smiles turned cold. Instruction: when people get angry at your boundaries, that's proof the boundary was necessary. Punchline: disrespect hides behind familiarity. Here's the phase that breaks most people: loneliness. Jay went weeks without calls, months without hangouts, silence everywhere. And his mind whispered, maybe you were wrong. But Stoicism teaches, solitude is where clarity is forged. Atlanta reality. Everyone loud is distracted. Everyone disciplined is alone. Instruction: Sit with the silence. Do not run back to noise. Punchline: loneliness is the gym where power is trained. Drop this in the comments. I can stand alone. Carl Jung explained this phase perfectly. When you stop being needed, your identity collapses. Jay asked himself, if I'm not the helper, who am I? That question is dangerous because it forces evolution. He discovered anger he suppressed.
Ambition he hid. Hunger he denied. This was his shadow. Not evil, untapped. Instruction: do not kill your shadow. Train it. Punchline: a controlled edge is safer than blind kindness. Jay didn't go back. He doubled down. More discipline, more focus, less emotion. While others partied, he worked. While others complained, he learned. And something strange happened. People started watching him quietly. Respect returned, but different, not friendly, careful. Years later, Jay walked into the same Atlanta neighborhoods, same streets, same corners, different energy. The people who once ignored him, they paused when he spoke. The ones who mocked him, they listened, because power doesn't announce itself, it changes the room. Nietzsche said, "The strong are not loud, they are inevitable." Jay had become inevitable. Here's the final truth. People don't respect kindness, they respect limits. Jay no longer needed approval, and that terrified people. Atlanta example: the man who can walk away from any deal always gets better terms. Instruction: never depend on anyone who benefits from your weakness. Punchline: freedom creates fear, and fear creates respect. Let's be honest, there is loneliness in power. Power is quiet, power is lonely, power costs relationships. Jay lost people, but he gained control. Not over others, over himself. And that's the only power that lasts. Here's the choice in front of you. You can be loved and broke, or respected and stable. You can be needed and drained, or selective and strong. Jay chose legacy, and legacy requires this truth. You cannot save people who refuse to save themselves. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. I build first, I help later, I owe myself a future. This world does not reward sacrifice without strategy, it punishes it. If you keep helping people, you'll stay broke. If you keep rescuing people, you'll stay broken. But if you build quietly, discipline yourself, and choose strength over approval, you become untouchable. Silence is power, boundaries are armor, and legacy is built by those who stopped helping everyone and finally helped themselves. If this message hit home, like and share the video. Subscribe for more power and real survival wisdom. Because the most dangerous person is not the loudest, it's the one who learned to say no and never explained again. So listen, there comes a moment most people never survive. Not poverty, not betrayal, not loneliness. Outgrowing everyone you know. Jay reached that moment quietly. No announcement, no argument, no dramatic goodbye. Just distance. And distance is dangerous because it shows you the truth without noise. The truth is, some people were never meant to grow with you. They were only meant to use the version of you that stayed small. When you rise, you expose them, and exposure feels like an attack to insecure people. Understand this: when you change, expect resistance. Example: Jay didn't flex, didn't brag, didn't preach, but his lifestyle changed, and suddenly, jokes turned passive-aggressive, support turned silence, bro turned he actin' funny. That's not hate, that's displacement. Instruction: never explain your evolution to people committed to your old version. Punchline: growth feels like betrayal to those who benefit from your stagnation. The moment they try to pull you back. This is the most dangerous phase. When people realize they can't use you anymore, they try to emotionally retrieve you. They remind you of the past. They bring up how you used to be. They guilt you with loyalty stories. Jay heard, "We came up together," but what they meant was, "Stay where I can reach you."
Machiavelli warned about this. He who causes another to become powerful ruins himself. They weren't mad Jay changed, they were mad they didn't. Never confuse history with obligation. Shared struggle does not mean shared future. Atlanta reality. Everyone loves the come-up story until you actually come up. Instruction. Honor the past, but don't live in it. Punchline. Nostalgia is a chain disguised as loyalty. Drop this in the comments. My future is not negotiable. Nobody glamorizes this to you. When you become disciplined, when you stop overgiving, when you stop explaining, the noise disappears. No constant messages, no fake emergencies, no emotional debt, just silence. And silence reveals something terrifying. You were never surrounded, you were needed. Now you're respected, and respect is quieter than love. Stoicism. Peace is better than being loved. Jay stopped chasing validation. He didn't need applause. He didn't need approval. He needed control over his time, his energy, his decisions. That's real wealth. Stoicism teaches, if you need nothing, no one owns you. Instruction. Reduce desires, increase standards. Punchline. The man who needs nothing cannot be controlled. Jay didn't become loud. He didn't become cruel. He didn't become bitter. He became precise. Words measured, moves intentional, access limited. People now approach him carefully, not because he's scary, but because he's no longer predictable. Jung would say, Jay integrated his shadow. Not rage, not hatred, authority. Power is not aggression, it's positioning. Jay doesn't threaten, he doesn't chase, he doesn't compete loudly. He positions himself where outcomes favor him. Atlanta example, the quiet owner, the silent investor, the man nobody plays with. Instruction, let your consistency intimidate. Punchline, when you're positioned right, force is unnecessary. Here it is, the truth most people never accept. You cannot be deeply respected and constantly available. You cannot be powerful and endlessly generous. You cannot build a legacy while carrying everyone on your back. Jay didn't abandon people, he abandoned being used. Drop this in the comments. I choose peace over approval, power over pity, legacy over comfort. If you made it this far, understand this. The world will test you, people will drain you, kindness will be exploited, until you decide enough. Not with anger, not with cruelty, with discipline. Because the strongest people aren't loud, they aren't emotional, they aren't begging to be understood. They move in silence, they protect their future, they outgrow everyone, and when they walk away, they don't look back. Silence is power, boundaries are survival, and legacy is built by those who stopped helping everyone and finally helped themselves. If this series woke something in you, like the video, subscribe for more power and real survival wisdom, because the most dangerous person is not the loudest, it's the one who learned to say no and never explained again.